Should I clean my cleaning business? So this is a question I get asked an awful lot from business owners. And I think this is the case whether you're running a business in the cleaning industry or any other industry. Having your own business is like riding a roller coaster. You have periods of real highs as well as periods of lows. And it's really important to be disciplined in understanding whether you continue to run your business and get through those periods, those low periods, or whether you are financially prudent and pull the plug. In this video, I'm going to talk specifically about the cleaning industry and go through 3 key points to consider when making that decision. So let's jump straight into it. So firstly, I think the main overriding principle I have when I'm sort of looking at this question is that we want to try to avoid debt as much as possible and getting into more debt, because I think this is this can be a real spiral. You want to try to avoid that. You want to try and make sure that your business is making at least some money, at least paying for itself. When we start getting into that debt, that growing debt position, then I think this for me is a hard no. So these 3 points. So firstly, we need to ask the question, are we covering our monthly living costs? Many people or companies I work with are doing this full time. They're running their cleaning business full time, but there are often other people who have this as a side hustle. Maybe they have a side gig, maybe they have a full-time job already, and they're setting up their cleaning business, and eventually with the plan to move over full time. That was certainly the case when I started up my business, back 10 years ago now. So the question, am I covering my monthly living costs, is a really important one, because if you're not covering your monthly living costs, then presumably you're having to find that money from elsewhere. Maybe you're dipping into your credit card, maybe you're dipping into your savings. But I think if you're getting to the position where your monthly living costs are not being covered by your income sources, whether it's from your cleaning business, if that's your full-time and main source of income, or whether you have another job and your cleaning business is giving you extra income, no matter what your source is, if your monthly living costs are not being covered, then you are in you're in a position where you need to change things, because if things don't change, you will continue to dip into your savings, or you will continue to get into debt, and that is a really, really bad position to get into. So if this is the case with your cleaning business, then you've got a decision to make. Do I take the view that I think the cleaning business can go back into profitability or make more money so that I am covering my monthly living costs, or do I not think that this is going to change anytime soon? And a framework that I used in my own cleaning business, and I tell others to do, is that you want to be very disciplined. You need to say, I need to, the cleaning business needs to be making X number of dollars every month in 3 months' time by this specific date. Or if you're starting out, for example, maybe you have a pot of money that you want to invest in the business. Let's say it's $10,000. You can say, well, as soon as I've spent that $10,000, there is no more money to be put into the business. The business needs to be making money. 10,000 is all I'm going to put in. I'm not going to keep dipping into savings or try and get money from credit card or loans. 10,000 is the limit. So a framework that is really useful, I think, is that you want to have a set dollar amount that you're going to invest into the business, and you need to give yourself a timeline as well, because it is very easy to say, okay, I'm going to give my cleaning company another 3 months until the end of the year. You get to the end of the year, you get to that position where you think, okay, things are getting a bit better, but it's still not getting better. So it goes from 3 months to 6 months, and you're slowly, getting yourself in a worse financial position. You're just dragging things out. So you need to be very, very disciplined. You don't need to be overly aggressive. You don't need to say, okay, by the end of the month, it needs to be making twice the amount of money. I think you need to be, sensible with your targets, but don't drag it on longer than it needs to be. Be very sure with yourself and say, okay, the reality is if my business isn't getting me isn't generating the money I want it to be generating within 6 months, for example, then I need to change things. I need to go back and get a full-time job, for example, if this is my full-time focus, or I need to close the business and focus on my day job. But I think you need to give yourself a strict timeline, and this is very, very definitely the case if you're not meeting your monthly living costs. That needs to be an absolute no. If you're going below that, and you're dragging that on, then you're going to get yourself into a worse and worse financial position. That's something you absolutely want to avoid. So the first point and the first question is, are you covering your monthly living costs? Secondly, more specifically in the business, you also then need to look at what is called your fixed cost base. Are you covering your fixed costs in your business? Because let's say you have a day job and you're generating most of the income from there, and you're looking for some additional income from your cleaning business. As I said, it may be a side hustle, a side project, and if you are covering your monthly living costs from your day job, then anything else that is generated from your cleaning company is additional income. Particularly if you're not spending a huge amount of time on it. Maybe you have a virtual assistant running the business for you. If it's generating income and you're not putting much time in, then that is obviously a great position to be in. Obviously, if your plan longer term is to jump from your day job to your cleaning company, then you want to be earning more income. In my particular case, I jumped ship when my cleaning business was earning the same monthly income that I was earning in my day job. So, earning profits in your cleaning business isn't necessarily enough if you're planning to eventually jump ship. But if you are covering your fixed costs, then you know that the cleaning business is paying its way, albeit at a small level. So what do I mean by your fixed costs? So broadly, when I look at the cleaning business, I see labor costs as one bucket and your fixed costs as another bucket. So your labor costs are obviously, the amount of money that you're paying to your cleaners to do these jobs for you. So, as I talk about in my other videos on my channel, I think you should price your jobs off a 50% labor cost. So if you're paying your cleaners $50 to do a particular cleaning, you want to make sure that you're charging the client at least $100 to make sure that you're making enough profit at the end of the day. So if you've got some cleanings happening, you should be making profits on each job. The fixed cost side of things are things that are paid out every month, whether you're doing one cleaning or 100 cleanings a month. So these would be things like, your any office costs if you have an office, or any car lease payments that you have with the business, or any insurance, any website hosting costs. There will be various costs in your business that you're paying every month, often on a subscription basis. And these are what I would term your fixed costs. They don't really change whether you are doing, one cleaning a month or 100 cleanings a month. But this is the money that is coming out every single month. And you need to make sure, if your business is profitable, that it is covering your fixed costs. Because if you're not doing enough cleanings, or you're priced too low that you're not making enough profit from your cleans to cover your fixed costs, then the business is actually unprofitable. And it is losing you money each month. And again, this is a hard line for me in my business. If you are not covering your fixed costs, then effectively you're getting into that financial black hole. Your business is no longer an asset, it is a liability, it is destroying your wealth. And in exactly the same way as I talked about in the previous point about making sure that your monthly living costs are covered, you need to be very prudent with this, with your business as well, and your fixed costs. And again, maybe if you are starting out, maybe your fixed costs aren't being covered, but certainly as the business grows, you need to make sure that you are easily covering your fixed costs and making money on top of that. So, specifically for those of you starting out and you're trying to get the business up and running, you're probably not going to have a huge number of clients to begin with. Maybe your fixed costs aren't being covered, but in exactly the same way, you want to give yourself a dollar amount that you invest in the business, and you want to give yourself a timeline. So I've started my business. Okay, we are not covering our fixed costs at the moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put $10,000 into the business. I'm not going to spend a dollar extra, and I'm going to give myself 6 months. So if by month 6 the business isn't making money, isn't covering its fixed costs, then I'm going to pull the plug. I'm going to close the business, focus on other areas to make income, maybe set up another business, or spend more time on my full-time day job. So you need to give yourself the same dollar amount, the same timeline, and you need to make sure that your fixed costs in your business are being covered, because if it's not, then your business is a liability rather than an asset. So thirdly, is your business growing? This is the other key thing to consider, because my belief is that if your business isn't growing, it's dying. It's quite a binary thing. So if your business is growing, maybe it's not making enough money, then I would argue that you want to keep going. Hopefully you are covering your fixed costs. Maybe you're not making a huge amount of money, but if you are seeing that your business is even growing a tiny little amount, every month, then you are probably on the right road. There are things that you can do to accelerate that growth. Conversely, if your business isn't growing or it's shrinking, then you may be in a position where today you are covering your fixed costs, but if your business continues to decline, your revenues continues to come down, maybe next month or in the month after, you are not covering your fixed costs. So you need to be very mindful of what is coming up ahead. If the business is falling or declining, you can't simply keep going. You need to project out a few months to see what that means, because if your business is continuing to fall, it will get to a position where it isn't making any money, it's losing your money, and that is going to put your business at risk, and it is also going to put your personal financial situation at risk if that starts cutting away at your monthly living expenses as well. So is your business growing is a really important one. If it isn't, then again, that is a real red flag. You need to make sure that you ensure that the business stops declining. You need to make sure it starts growing. If it starts growing, that is an indication that you want to keep continuing. If it's declining, that is a real red flag. You need to, again, give yourself a timeline. I need to revert the decline in the business by month 3, or I'm pulling the plug. So we need to be very, very disciplined about our growth in our business. It's absolutely critical. Usually, you can grow your business out of financial trouble. Obviously, if you have a business that has double the number of clients, if you've priced your jobs in the right way, you should be making double the amount of revenue, double the amount of profit. Your fixed costs, as I said, tend to be fixed whether you are, regardless of the volume of cleanings you're doing. So if you have double the size business, you should be making more profit. So 9 times out of 10, if you grow your business, if you add more clients, then you're going to be able to grow yourself out of this financial black hole. So growth is really important. It is often the key to getting yourself out of a bad position. And the way to do it, if you are financially restricted at the moment, is to really focus on low cost or free marketing channels. In this next video, I'm going to give you my top 5 free marketing channels or strategies. And if you focus and if you put these to work, you will find that you add more new clients with spending very, very little money or no money at all. And as I said, 9 times out of 10, this will get you out of the position. So I'll see you on the next one.